But how did you feel? How did you feel seeing this athlete, seeing Hadi on stage, seeing the way he looks, hearing the crowd response? I mean, the crowd response by itself should already tell a lot. Right. You know, I mean, a crowd just not going to, respond that way to a foreigner just because he's a foreigner.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So how did you feel as a coach sitting there watching prejudging going on? Let's talk about prejudging first, because you felt the same, like, oh, they're pushing him. Where are they pushing him? Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? How did you feel?
So first of all, when I saw the individuals come out, I saw Rami. I saw, I should say, I'm trying to remember what it was. The champion always comes out last.
Last, yeah.
Right? So I'm always waiting to see, okay, well, how is he going to look, right? But so when Hadi came out and I said, okay, wow, he looks really good. He's super conditioned. Everything looks really good. We'll see how the rest of these athletes look. Because I'm seeing a lot of the athletes not in the kind of shape that he's in.
Right.
And so I'm sitting here going, okay, now let's see where Brandon looks. I go, okay, Brandon looked like he brought up his legs a little bit, still not super sharp, but one of the guys that definitely had made some improvements, I felt. But I'm like, okay, he's not shredded, but he's not, he's not missing any major body parts. And his legs, which, have always been down, has definitely come up a bit, but we have to see how they compare. Then when I saw Rami come out, I was like, okay, he's not what he was last year. I said, he looked like he was holding a bit of water. And I said, okay, he's left the door open. So now we have to see, has he left the door open for Brandon or Hadi or somebody else? Mm-hmm. Let's see how these comparisons go.
But after all, but Rami was the last one. So who else did you see in the mix other than Brandon and Hadi? Was there anybody else?
Brandon, Hadi, Rami. I kind of pay attention to Nick because I thought Nick looked good. Mm-hmm. Hunter a little bit, but it was one of those things where Hunter I still thought could be a bit harder, but definitely he's got real good shape. He made some really good improvements. So I was in agreement with where the top five were for all of the athletes that were the judges had the top five. I was really, really, really looking forward to seeing them in the mix. And when they put him aside, and I was like, what's going on?
Did you lose it?
Right? I didn't lose it. No, I don't ever lose it like that. I don't go, oh my God, and I knew that there were some issues, and I said, okay, let me, I'm going to have to figure out what's going on. But in the meantime, let me compartmentalize my own guy, and let me look at these two others. I want to look at Rami, and I want to look at Brandon. And I kept looking at Rami going, he's off. He's off. And between the two, honestly, if I had to pick them because my guy's out unbiasedly, I had Brandon winning. Mm-hmm. And that's the thing. I said, and again, the scorecard was only off by 1 point.
Right.
So Brandon, after prejudging, was only behind Rami by 1 point. Mm-hmm. And you got to remember, I love Rami. Rami's a teddy bear. Mm-hmm. He's as a person and a friend, I love the guy. But I'm trying to be completely objective at this point. I'm saying, look, his conditioning wasn't where it was. I honestly felt conditioning wise, I had him in third, maybe mm-hmm. fourth, because of the conditioning Friday night. But because if they want to say because Hadi was small, or if they want to say because of shoulders, or because of whatever it is, I'm just looking at these two people, and between the two, I would have said that because he had gone backwards quite a bit, I would say he was about 15% off of what he was the year prior.
So what did you think after prejudging?
I just said to myself, look, man, I know what I got to go do. I'm going to go look at pictures. I want to see what we can do to improve. And I'm not going to get there. One thing I don't do is I don't sit there and listen to too many people and too many things online and everything else. I go off of what's worked for me. I knew that he was undersized compared to the other two guys. Mm-hmm. But I know he had better conditioning than both those guys. Right. So what I'm banking on, and this is what makes him so dangerous against Rami, what Rami is to size, Hadi is to conditioning. Mm-hmm. So if he doesn't balance out right, that's when it becomes dangerous. And that's why you always say Hadi's so dangerous.
Dangerous. At the end of the day, I mean, there's still Brandon, who's very dangerous.
Yes, very dangerous. And a great bodybuilder.
And Brandon, I thought after last year, he said, I'm thinking he's going to go for size and he's going to mess, he's going to blow his condition and he's going to fall back. He did find a good combination of size and condition. He wasn't as hard as he was last year. Mm-hmm. But he was much fuller and rounder. It looked better. I think it was the best Brandon. And what does he have to do in order to win?
I think he needs to continue to keep bringing his legs up, to match up that upper body, because what's happening is as he's growing his upper body, his lower body is I'm sorry, as he's growing his lower body, his upper body's growing as well.
Exactly.
So there's still this imbalance to his body, and then I think that obviously he could always be harder, and that's one of those things.
And I think it was. I almost believe that this is going to be a 3-man show again next year, for whatever reason. Even though that I think that Nick Walker is the future. You know, I just think it's just a little bit early for him, and he needs that quality. He needs the quality. If he gets to hardest quality, then Nick Walker is the man to beat. You know, so I'm Rami. For Rami, of course, the goal is now to train now and not blow up. You know, but train for quality. You know, and not miss months and months of training and then trying to catch up. Because you know, if you know Rami, he's a nice guy and everything. He's a sweetheart, but you know, he needs confirmation. You know, he needs to see that this is possible. You know, he literally had to ask us almost every other day, "Do you believe I can win?" You know, he's not.
Do you feel like he has the mindset to be able to win? You know, multiple Olympia titles, 4, 5, 6. Do you think he has the mindset for that?
Ask me next year.
Okay.
Ask me next year. I think, you know, he has. He wants to, but I don't know, because you have to prove it.
You're not 100%. Yeah, you're not 100% confident yet.
Yeah.
Because of what happened this year.
Yeah, you have to prove it first. So, you know, it's easy to say, yeah, I want it bad. I want it 100%. Yeah, but prove it. You know, right. So, you know, and we'll see. As of right now, he is 100% focused. I can tell. We just have to make sure it's because it's another 13 months to the Olympia. So if everything goes the way it is right now, then I think he's going to be in a very, very good place by next year. And it's going to be a much better. You know, it's easy to be better than he was this year. You know, so I'm looking forward to that. But like I said, I believe Hadi is the biggest threat to Rami. I believe Brandon still has every shot of winning the Olympia. You know, if he keeps, you know, like you just said, if he keeps improving the legs and not get drastically bigger in the upper body, because that way the imbalance will remain the same. And then it's just a matter of, you know, nailing it that day. It was, I think it's just, you know, he saw how close he was, so I know Brandon is motivated, you know. And
Very.
And is he in his 40s yet?
Oh, Brandon's got to be, yeah, I think he's got to be in his early 40s, late 30s, early 40s.
So that's when it gets harder too. Once you reach your 40s, it's not the same.
Yeah, unless you're Dexter.
Sometimes, even though if the mind is right, sometimes the body doesn't respond like the mind wants to.
Yeah, absolutely. But I mean, you can see that he's definitely, you know, still pushing hard.
I mean, he's still on top. He's second. You know, he's second twice, 2 years back to back.
Yeah, he's got second twice, and he's won the Olympia before, so he knows what it feels like to win. And I think, you know, being Mr. Olympia.